Alhamdulillah wa salatu salam ala Rasulillah. One of the things that I like to share are some best practices. What are some tools for the student of knowledge? No doubt the best, the weapon of the believer is dua, and the best zaad, the best provisions is taqwa, and those things we know. But kind of things that are like hands-on, everyday things you can use to kind of make you a more efficient student of knowledge. So, just going to talk about some general things. It's kind of a fun video, and hopefully those who love to study and love to read a lot will enjoy it. I'm not a big technology guy. I like technology. I have a laptop and all that kind of stuff. But when it comes to reading, I'm a hardcover, old school book guy. I like to have my tea. I like to sit down with a book and a pen and highlighters and those things to me are really valuable. If you want to go the high-tech route, one of the best things you can do is download Maktaba Shamila. Maktaba Shamila has thousands of books. The one I have has 16,000 books. It's free. You can get it online. You can search. Look it up, Maktaba Shamila. You'll find like videos on how to download it and set it up and so on. And if you don't have it, it's a great tool. You can search books and it'll be easier to find references. There's also a really handy thing where in hadith, if there's a rawi, you can click on the rawi, get the tarjuma, the biography of that rawi, and jarh and ta'dil, which is great. But it's filled with errors. The one I have, alhamdulillah, I got from a brother. His name is Sheikh Abdul Hamid Rahmati. He is the son of Sheikh Ghulamullah Rahmati. And what they did is they downloaded the software, downloaded the books, and then in their madrasa, in their Islamic school, when the children were off or when they had vacation time, they said whoever wants, we will pay them to check each book. And I forgot how many thousand mistakes they found. So if you are going to use Maktaba Shamila, just take that with a grain of salt that there may be a lot of typist errors, because this is basically people around the world typing up the books for free and uploading them. And that's why it's free, but it's got errors. Alhamdulillah, the one I have, they were selling it because they were using the proceeds to pay those students, and they were poor students, and alhamdulillah, I was more than happy. I think it was like $50, which is, and I would have paid 10 times that. A great copy. But I wouldn't depend on it still. When I wrote my book, Abdul Qawlain fi Mas'ala Raf'ul Yadain, I kept to the principle of always holding the book, and if I could, an actual manuscript in my hand when writing the references. I really suggest that. So if you want to do the high-tech route, get Maktaba Shamila, download the books, but just try to always make sure that you check a good print of a good muhaqqiq, like a good scholar who specializes in manuscripts and things, like Sheikh Bakr Abu Zayd rahmatullah alayh, or Sheikh Abdullah bin Abdul Muhsin the Turki, or Sheikh Ahmed Ajmi, or many other scholars, mashallah, may Allah reward them, that are experts in manuscripts and things. So always make sure you check the actual book. All right, so let's get to the fun stuff. I'm going to show a few things that I think are very valuable for the student knowledge. This is the first. It's a cool little thing. It's a little, and I'm not going to talk about brands because I'm not paid by any of these companies. I don't get any free product to review. This is just with the intention to make students of knowledge who are studying the divine Sharia to be able to get to their goal in an efficient manner. So it's a little elastic pen holder, and it's kind of cool. It goes over the cover of the book, and I find this valuable because sometimes you're on a plane or a train and you don't want to take all your pens and go to your pen pouch or your backpack or whatever. And if you just have this in the book, you just take the book with you. You have enough. And this one only has for 3 pens. You can get one that has a lot, but I mean, how many pens do you really need in that kind of a situation? So what I do is I use a ink pen, and for ink pens, I'm a big fountain pen guy. We'll talk about pens, inshallah. A highlighter and a mechanical pencil, and I just put those in the pouch, and that's kind of cool. Those are the 3 that I think basically you need. You need to highlight. Maybe you want to take some notes that you don't want to put in pen. You want it in a pencil. And then some things you may want to put in ink. You're ink, and you want to ink it, so then you can use the fountain pen, or if you're not a fountain pen guy, then a regular pen. All right, which brings us to, I think one of the most important things for a student knowledge, which is a good pen. I like fountain pens. I'm an ink guy, so these are a few that I'm going to show. Again, I'm not really going to talk about brands as much as I can. I'm going to stay away from brands. I'll mention a couple just to make it easy. But this is an inexpensive one I got. It's a Chinese brand, but it really works well. I mean, it's just as good in writing as a Mont Blanc or anything expensive you can get. I had a Mont Blanc. I gave it away as a gift to another student because to me it didn't write any better than one of these pens. You know, it's just a name brand. Who cares about name brands? But this is a fountain pen, and it uses ink. You refill it. You can use two ways. You can use ink bottles. This is what I use, or yeah, you can order a couple, or you can use cartridges. Yeah. So these are little cartridges you get. The reason I don't use them anymore is because I just started going through way too many of them. So it's a little cartridge. You can just plug it in. So this is, I'm going to mention the name here. This is called a Perea by Pilot, just because I really like these little pens. They clip on really well, but you got to make sure it's the one that's made in Japan. And it's small. It writes incredibly well. I had one that I used so much that the nib was almost gone, and I loved it. I gave it to a good, very, very beloved brother, and hopefully he's using it, inshallah. But I got another one. I don't know, this one doesn't write quite as good as that one, but maybe it's just, I was just used to that one. But these are really good. They're small. You can put the cartridge in them, just pop it open. But what I've done now is I've got the one that has a valve, so you can actually refill it. So the cartridges are really great if you just want to keep some to pop in. But then if you write a lot, as I do, you start to go through them too fast. So I would get these fountain pens with the refillable valve and get some good ink. And you know, I know it's kind of messy, like you'll get ink on your hand, sometimes on your clothes, but you know, so what? And this is a sign of somebody who likes to read and write. You know, shouldn't be ashamed of it. I've got a lot actually, but these are German. This is a really good one. It's German. But again, some of these cheaper ones work just as well. Just get one that works well. Talking about pens, this is one I'm going to recommend. This is a Pilot, and it looks like one of those little kid ones that has all different colors, so you think that's kind of funny, but it's really good because it actually has 1, 2, 3, 4 colors: red, green, blue, and black. But the middle, where the clip is, where you would regularly clip it into your pocket, if you click that one, it's actually a mechanical pencil. So it's kind of cool. You actually have a mechanical pencil as well. So this pen, like by itself, would almost be all you need. It doesn't have a highlighter, obviously, but it does have a mechanical pencil if you want to take pencil notes, and if you want to make, like, you know, red notes, you want to green, blue, different colors. And I use a lot of colors when I write. I always like to. It helps me differentiate between things. Like sometimes I'll put hadith in a different color and ayat in a different color in my own notes. So having the pencil and all of those is really good. It also has the eraser, so it's a really good overall pen. It's well made. It may look a little childish, but it's actually very, very practical. You always want to have a good mechanical pencil. I have a couple that I'm going to show you. These are drafting pencils. So you see they're solid. This is a 0.7 mm. It's a little bit thicker. I like the 7 and the 9. I like a little bit thicker usually, and has a rougher bezel here, so you can kind of hold on better. But I just got this new one, Rotring 600. It's a 0.5 mm. And this one, the reason I like it, one, it's kind of a smoother but still rough, so you can still use it. But it also has all metal. It's fully metal, so you know it's not plastic. It's not going to crack and so on. These mechanical pencils are really handy. Like sharpening a pencil, you know, who's going to do that when you write that much? You know, depending on how fine you want it, you can get them. But getting a good one of these is going to be very essential for student knowledge. The next thing you should always have is a highlighter. I'm a big fan of highlighting. I always keep a box of highlighters at home, and I always take some with me. So, you know, always have a good amount of highlighters with you. I keep them. Always take one, because when you're reading a lot, you want to highlight what's important, because when you want to come back to it, you don't have to try to reread the whole chapter to find which was essential. And in that note, it's also very important to have Post-its. I'm a big fan of these Post-its. You know, so I have a bunch, different colors and different ones. And people kind of think this is childish, but many times I've researched this particular subject, and then years later I want to research the same subject, and I go back and I get the book and I just look through the post-its with my markings, and it's so much easier to find that research, or instead of doing it all over again. Now, I will mention something, and this is my very, very old book, and this is why people talk about, oh, just get a tablet, or get a iPad, or get a Kindle. But I've gone through a lot of those. I mean, I've gone through PDAs and all those things, and I've lost all my notes that were on them, and I've lost a lot of that information. This book I studied in 2004. So what is that? 17 years ago. 17 years ago. And I still have it. And I still have my little post-its. And if I open it up, I still have my notes. I mean, this is from 17 years ago. I don't know if you guys can see the notes really clearly, but you can see that I have my notes still in it. I have my highlights, I have my notes, I have my post-it. If I want to find that subject, I can find it, and I can benefit from these notes that are from 17 years ago. I mean, I don't have those electronic devices anymore. I used to save them on flash drives, and I lost them and so on. So I'm a big fan of the actual book. But I will say something. If you're going to put these post-its and you have kids, like I have kids, especially if they're younger, they might go and take these off. So I'm going to suggest that what you do is, in the back of the book, you have some empty pages. Make your own faharis, your own tables of context and content. You can put in like by hadith, or by subject, or by things that are important. And I did that myself, and it's really valuable, because a lot of my post-its were taken off by my kids over the years, that I can still go back and then find what was important to me in a table of content and most books will leave some blank pages for you to be able to do that. All right, a couple other fun little things. If you're going to be reading a lot, you probably want to get a little reading light, especially if you're like me and you read at night, and the kids are asleep and the wife may be asleep, and you still want to read. Get a good one though. I mean, a lot of these are really cheap. If you get one like this one, and you clip it onto the book, and this one is a LED one. I mean, I'm not going to mention the brand because it's not really important, but you can read the reviews. It has 3 different levels, so it'll give you different lighting. It's USB charged, and it really gives you, this one gives you a good amount of light, so you can really read. Some are really dim and it's going to mess up your eyes. Some are too bright, then it's going to wake everybody up. What's the point of that? So get a good balance, but get a good one like this so you can read at night, or if you're traveling, or if you're somewhere else, and you don't have enough light, or they don't have lights there, or so on. So you get one of these, you can use it. Last thing I'm going to show is a stand, because a lot of times you have a table and things, but you have a lot of books and you're holding books, and you start getting tired and things. So I got a book stand, and you can, unfortunately, these are actually called cookbook stands, because people don't read a lot, but they read it for cooking. And it's a cool little stand. You can get it on Amazon or whatever. There are different brands. It doesn't really matter. Just get one that's solid. And what it does, you can actually put the book and hold it. It's got these little hooks. So, if you're reading, you can put it in your bed and put the hooks, and they'll kind of hold it in place. And then, if you have your little light, you put the light, and, in your bed, on your stool, you can put it. It's being held. It's got the little light. You can read. Fun stuff. So I hope that by the will of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that these little tools will make it easier for you to seek knowledge. And in the end, it's what you put into it.